Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, today we have a wonderful guest, a wonderful person, Dr. Marika. Dr. Marika actually is very scientific and spiritual person. She will going to present a wonderful lecture. Dr. Marika Vuga actually will going to share us.
Thank you very much. My talk today is about comprehending the world through numbers, and I'll focus specifically on number patterns in the multiplication table. Omnia in numeris vita sunt is a Latin quote meaning everything lies veiled in numbers. So I wish to unveil a little bit of that for you today. At first, I want to acknowledge the people without which this talk would not be happening today. Magnolia is the one who alerted me of something interesting hidden in the times table, the multiplication table, and she talked about Marco Rodin's work, which I have discovered in a different way. So it's not his work, but it's inspired by his work. And then Tony Gilgis for his for seeing me in my unique way and allowing me to share my special knowledge, and Sama for her incredible support. Thank you so much. So this is the multiplication table that most of you, I think everyone, has seen and learned in school. This is the basis for the talk today. So we'll look at number patterns in that times table, and we'll be evaluating number patterns. And first we'll look at the tools we need for that. Then we look at what we can see, like the observation and analysis, mostly focused on data points, orientation, and shapes. And then finally, we'll look at associations with the times table number pattern shapes. So the process is observation leads to analysis, and there's always association involved and intuition. Whenever it happens, gives the analysis and the observation a new twist, a new way to look at it. So the required tools are observation, visual perception, intuition, and association, and simple math. Addition, multiplication for today, and the computation of the digital root or seed number, which is used in mathematics, science, numerology, and other disciplines. So let's look at the computation of the digital root. So this is a simple definition, the easiest to follow. Sum all digits repeatedly until a single digit is obtained. I have two examples here. The number 12, you take the individual digits like 1 and 2 and add them together. You receive, the result is a 3. So the seed number of 12 is 3. And then with 78, you add 7 and 8, and you receive as the sum 15. This is not a single digit yet, so we do it again. 1 and 5 is 6. So the seed number of 7 is 6. So we're creating from the original times table, the multiplication table that you're all familiar with, a new table, which I call the new times table, or the times table with seed number, by computing for each of the elements in the traditional multiplication table its seed number. Here we have an example for 3 times 4, which will result to a 3 in the new times table. So this is the final times table with seed numbers. that is our beginning. This is what we use to look at numbers. So first we need definition of axis and diagonal so we know what we're talking about. So anything vertical and horizontal, I will call axis or axis, vertical axis, like this one, and horizontal axis like this one. Then I will call this diagonal main diagonal and the other one off diagonal. And I'll have short cuts for these so it's easier to see. This is the main diagonal, this is the off diagonal, and these are the axes. So I'm going to introduce now the patterns of numbers 1 to 9. Pattern of number 1. Let's look at the number of data points. We can count them. It's easy. It's 1. The one that is highlighted in orange is the longest connection between any of the numbers that are highlighted for 1. Now we have pattern of number 2. The number of data points, again 6. And the orientation is also on the main diagonal. And both of them are equally long, and from the outer 2 to the other outer 2 is the longest connection, and it's 2 times that way. For pattern of number 3, we see an image with more data points. So this has 12 data points. And the orientation is again along the main diagonal. For number 4, we have a different pattern. And we have 6 data points. Easy to compute, to count them. The main orientation is again in the main diagonal. For pattern number 5, we have again 6 data points, with the main orientation this time in the orientation of the off diagonal. For pattern 6, and is along the off diagonal. For pattern number 7, for its main orientation. Pattern number 8 is the data points number is 6, and the main orientation is off diagonal. Pattern number 9, the data points are 21. And the main orientation is along the main axis, based on the initial longest line. We see that there's also an orientation towards the off diagonal, based on the longest line. So we have 2 different types of perceiving a number 9 in this respect. So now we have an overview of number patterns, and whoever wants to try to look at it for themselves can get a paper and pen, and later there will be the opportunity to, let's do it now, whoever wants to do it, grab a paper and draw whatever shapes you see with these data points of the number patterns. Let me know when you're done. and if you even want to do it. I just love the excitement of finding connections. So the joy I had when I found these patterns was really great. So I assume, since I don't hear any input, you're fine, and there might be a chance to do that later. Okay, so observations and associations.
A moment, please, Marika.
And beautiful number patterns.
A moment,
yes,
please, just to let others intersect with us. Marika is trying to find figures with tables. So she make a wonderful thing, making simple numbers in the multiplication tables to appear as figures. Using this method, which actually she tried to present at the first lecture or at the beginning of the lecture, by adding the 2 digits. 12 means 3. So we have only numbers from 1 to 9. After having this number from 1 to 9, everything will become simple and figures actually manifest. This figure, which manifests in 9 tables, which is multiplication tables, we're going to be used next. I'm just trying to express something for them or simplify the idea, and of course Marika shall continue. Continue, Marika. Okay.
Okay, so that's the tables, number patterns, and now we look at observation and associations. So the number patterns I found are also known as Vedic squares in Vedic mathematics, which I didn't know when I found them. But now I realized in the preparation for this talk that they are actually already known, and I found out from the video of Jan 108, which is called 369 Code Revealed on YouTube. So thank you so much for that assistance. And these are the number pattern view. Now, when we look at the data points, I put them visually together. So data points with 6 data points. The patterns with 6 data points are in the upper panel. The patterns with 12 data points are in the lower left corner. In the lower middle is the pattern with 21 data points. And in the lower right corner is a tabulated outcome, where we can see that we have different amount of number patterns that have different data points. So when we look at it in a different way, like the numbers are usually increasing from 1 to 9 with an increment of 1, it looks like this. So when we draw a line for those who have 6 data points, we see it's 6 patterns. When we do that for those who have 12 data points, we receive 2 patterns. And the last one is 21 patterns. It only appears for 1 number pattern, which is 9. So from there we know that there is a hierarchy within the number patterns, where 9 is the highest, 3 and 6 are the next, and the lowest are the other numbers. In this case, it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. So we already know that 9 is outstanding, and it's in the sequence the highest, but it even elevated with these number patterns, which is already known in many spiritual disciplines, that 9 is the highest, most important number overall, or at least within the range from 1 to 9. For example, in numerology, in the Baha'i faith, and Amuleke culture in Cameroon, which I know from Bless, who is a member of the Cameroonian Austrian Culture Association in Graz, Austria. The main orientation of the number patterns are summarized in this slide, where you can see, let me grab them and put them together. On the upper panel, you see the first 4 to the left. They are all oriented along the main diagonal. Then the lower ones are all oriented along the off diagonal, and the one on top left in the lower top left corner is oriented along the main axis. So since we already know that 9 is a special pattern, we take it out as special, and we see that 1, 4, and 8, they are oriented in along a different axis, along a different diagonal. So the main orientation reveals basically 2 groups and the pattern number 9. And then the orientation also reveals that it can be rotated by 90 degrees from the upper panel to the lower, as well as to number 9 pattern that shows the off diagonal orientation, as well as all of these on the left side towards the 9 that is oriented along the axis by 45 degrees. So what shapes do you see? So this is a chance for you to draw on paper your own observations. I'll give you just a little more time for that if you want to do it.
Please proceed, Marika, okay? Because it already recorded in YouTube. So please proceed. Proceed.
Okay. Okay. So anyone wants to do it can just stop the recording when it's posted, and I'll continue. So these are discovered now. Because we have now shapes associated with it, it's much easier to see the pattern that are alike. For example, pattern number 1 looks very much like pattern number 8. And pattern number 2 looks very much like pattern number 7. So I'm going to rearrange it now so that they are underneath each other. So from this, we can see that they are actually the same shape, but just have different orientation. So now we have them grouped in these pairs. And the observation I made was there are 5 distinct shapes based on 9 numbers. 9 has a unique pattern, and there are 4 patterns in pairs: 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 3 and 6, and 4 and 5. They're congruent. That means they're identical in shape, but varying in orientation. The overlap occurs when mirrored around any axis or by a 90-degree rotation around the point in the center of the 8x8 subgrid, which is seen here and with the green axis. That's the point. When you add then these 2 numbers of the pairs, we always get the number 9. So here we look at them again in a different package, and it's very clear that they are related. And these are the number patterns, and it's much easier to see it when you have a shape than when you don't have a shape. But now we know that they also relate. Based on my observation, all pattern except pattern of number 9 looks tilted by 45 degrees. Therefore, I feel like adjusting the axis of all patterns by rotating them by 45 degrees to the right so that the main diagonal becomes the vertical axis. an example is shown here. For pattern number 1, 45-degree erect the shape. So 45-degree rotated shapes look like this. And we're going to look at patterns associated with these shapes. So number 1 looks like an almond shape, the opening of the human procreation organs, as well as vesica piscis. The intersection, which is a symbol, a mathematical geometric symbol, as well as a spiritual symbol. But in mathematical terms, it's the intersection of 2 circles with the same radius, where the radius is the distance between the 2 centers. In a spiritual context, it's always a unity circle. It's always of the unit 1, whatever that unit may be. 1 is associated with that radius. So other shapes, when we look at lines, we see the number 1 within this pattern. We see the vertical line as well as the English one, which can also, which is also ignoring the other special rule. We see the letter A when you connect these 2 points and this. We see parallel lines in these ways. We see a triangle on top, a triangle on the bottom. We see a pyramid when we fill all the lines. And we see an octahedron or crystal. We also see a rectangle, and a Saturn magic square related to Earth. There's also an arrow pointing up and down when you look at it, which is not displayed here, but there's many other things that can be perceived. This is just my main selection at the moment. Number pattern association, patterns. For number 2, the shapes were 2 parallel lines in a vertical orientation. The first thing associated with is a ladder. Then I have parallel vertical lines, parallel horizontal lines that can be perceived. The letter E and the letter B, or the number 8, triangles, 2 compartments, as well as 4 compartments, which is actually when you connect them in a more intricate way. Another way to connect shapes, which I saw later, that's my second shape that I saw in it, is these 2 curves, which looks like the entrance to the womb, or 2 energy channels that are known in spiritual tradition to cross along in the area of the spine in the various chakras. Then we have the Ingus rune, which is a symbol for ancestors and inner potential, as well as a common pattern in art. The number pattern association pattern for pattern 3 is a toroidal energy flow around a body. It's the electromagnetic field of the heart according to the source. This is an image that I received through courtesy of the Heart Math Institute. You can also see the website below. It's www.heartmath.org, as well as a 2D model of a 3D field of a torus. The image was allowed for the use in my work by Marshall Levitt. Now, for pattern number 3, we see other shapes. The vine rune for protection is a little bit not so symmetric because of my my drawing skills with this program. And Pisces, the symbol of Pisces, the zodiac sign, as well as meeting place is a symbol in the Aboriginal culture. And we have number pattern further association with pattern number 3, where when I connected them in this way, we see a lot of different type of rectangle. I saw in it the Greek cross of church floor plan, as well as the floor plan of the Chartres Cathedral in France. There might be other church plans that fit that pattern. For pattern number association pattern of 4, I saw a sheltered container as well as an indicator of a horizontal mirror in the middle here, with the symbol of as above, so below. And when you connect them, you receive a circle. Other shapes for the number pattern 4 are letter W, the letter M, the composite of these two, geometric shape, this form, the number 8 and infinity, 3 vertical lines, where the center one is the longest, an hourglass, a crib, and the Gabor rune, which symbolizes exchange and present. Number pattern association for pattern 5 is open, below and above. It shows a vertical mirror. It shows 3 horizontal lines, where the one in the middle is the longest. It shows an S. And the geometric form, what we saw before pattern 4, but this time lying on the longer end, longer side. We see a circle, we see infinity symbol, we see the letter H, as well as the Daggers rune, which is a symbol for day and night change, as well as transformation. Number pattern association for pattern 6 is the opening on 2 sides with chakra funnels, front and back, as well as the 2D model of a 3D field of a torus, but rotated by 90 degrees from its original image. For pattern number 7, we can see a mouth, a vocal cords, half closed eye, or fish, and the element of water. Pattern number 7, other connections are 2 parallel lines that are horizontal, 3 parallel lines that are vertical, like a comb-like structure, 2 rectangles or infinity, and like a pointer in 2 directions, triangles, diamond pattern on the side, a common pattern in art again, and a compartmental structure. Number pattern association of pattern 8 is the shape of an eye. divine eye, third eye, again, the vesica piscis in a different orientation. Number 8 shows other shapes when connected by lines. One is a horizontal line, triangles, compass fingers, crystal, the base, the square base pyramid that is pointing towards one side, as well as Saturn magic square for the water element. And the number pattern associations for number 9 are a diamond with a lower part repeated in an expanded scale. The algae rune is a rune of the higher self, and plus the cross, the container, the frame, and various aspects of the square. When you look at it in a circular way, you see the concentric circles, the pupils of an eye, the divine eye, macrocosm and microcosm, head with arms, as well as the earth symbol with 4 directions. Observations and associations. There are plenty of shapes associated with number patterns in the times table. Circles, vesica piscis, curves, lines, triangles, squares, and rectangles, pyramids, crystals, the octahedron, which is the pyramid pointing up and the pyramid pointing down, with the common base of the square, which is one of the 5 platonic solids, the physical body segments, energy flow around the body, Earth and all living entities, and floor plans of churches, various runes, and Saturn magic square. So now the summary is that we can see 9 number patterns. We have looked at the data points, where 9 is the highest, 3 and 5 follow, and then the lowest are all other number patterns. We obtained 3 groups. Through orientation, we have discovered that some patterns align along the main diagonal, some align along the off diagonal, and only pattern 9 can be seen to align with the axis. When you look at it from a visual perspective. So I think it's always important to anything that you perceive in looking at data, not to just ignore it when it doesn't fit the pattern that you expect, like the longest line for the orientation. It didn't have the longest line, but it showed something important that we'll see maybe some other time. Then shapes, there are many shapes that correspond with these number patterns. And I showed you before that there are number pairs, 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 3 and 6, and 4 and 5. Macro-Roden calls them polar opposites, but he didn't talk about them in those number pattern squares that I do. He talks about their relationship in another way. And then we have associations with timetable number pattern shapes. They are geometric shapes, vesica piscis, curves, line, triangle, square, rectangle, 3D forms like the octahedron, human physical body segments, floor plan of churches, energy flow around the body, and symbols. In particular, important to mention the Saturn magic square symbol and various runes. For example, Algis, Gabo, Ingas, and there were others that I didn't present today. Okay, so all numbers are shown here, which makes us come full circle, but not exactly. We kind of now have colored this template. These are all of the number patterns. All is number, all is one, and thank you. Thank you for your attention, and thanks to the divine and spirit for guiding me and allowing me to perceive these marvelous patterns, connections, and associations. Thanks to Salon Eastern Light and Human Inner Horizons organization for inviting me to talk about my findings. Special thanks to Tony for his inspiration and support. Special thanks to Sama for organizing this talk, her beneficial input and helpful exchanges. Then I want to thank Marco Holden for his vortex-based mathematics, Yain 108 Academy for his YouTube video 369 Code Revealed that informed me about Vedic squares, all people whose presence, thoughts, interaction, work, images, books, presentations, videos, and other material added to my current perception of the world. And last but not least, my thanks goes to all people involved with open source applications and those contributing or supporting me in any way while I am playing with numbers. Thank you from the heart, and thanks again for your attention and being here. I appreciate you. Here's my contact email in case you have questions that come up later. You can take a note or see it in the video later.
Thank you, Marika, very much for this wonderful lecture. Actually, with the name of the salon, Eastern Light Salon, and our wonderful organization, the Human Horizon. We are thanking you very much for this great efforts. Actually, this great efforts is very important because we are seeking the truth. What actually Marika do is doing something very spiritual and very scientific at the same time. Of course, Dr. Marika is a doctor in engineering and mathematics from University of Vienna and Pittsburgh. And she's trying to make researches to actually give us light, to have the ability to find the truth. What is doing now is having the monad. And we actually explain monads many times in our lessons and in our lectures in this salon. The monad is the truly pure elementary language of the universe. So when we find the figure which is repeated in the universe with the language of letters and numbers, we find out the letters of this sacred and divine language. So all of these figures is just a monad. All of these figures is just the primitive language which can make us talk to numbers in appropriate way. As Marika actually told me before, according to Pythagoras think that figures and numbers are the divine language of the universe. Again, I'd like to thank Marika very much. I'm going to close this share participating screen to see Marika and thank her very much for this wonderful lecture, and also thank all members of the Salon and members of our Human Inner Horizon Association to give us this opportunity to invite Dr. Marika with us. And now I'm going to let all participants to ask Marika any question if you'd like to ask her. Okay, if anyone have any question, just raise his hand to organize our meeting. First, we have Niveen, of course. Okay, Niveen, proceed then.
Thank you, Marika, for this lecture. It was very wonderful, and it's open like a brain storm to some other deep information that we used to take before in our salon. So what I see from this lecture, that the universe talk in two ways, like you show the figures and the numbers, but also I can see letters. So letters can convert to number, or number can convert to letters. And I see the other geometric figures that you draw is also it show me like the numbers and the letters is like create this kind of figures, which is made the monad or the signs for life. This is like life work like this in figures. Like this is a creation of the numbers and the letters. This is the creation of them, is the figures. Is my vision to your lecture is true, or you wanna like add something to inform me?
I think what you perceive is actually correct. It's all connected, numbers, letters, and shapes. And I believe that in this particular pattern, the multiplication table, we can extract from it the entire master plan of creation. So I only have an hour for presentation, so I cannot do it in 1 hour to introduce to you the basic concept and the patterns, but in the end, all together can be put together to see that it's actually a map of connections of the divine master plan.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
If anyone have another question, of course, I'd like to listen all of your questions, suggestions to Marika. Okay, we have Lobna raised his hand. Okay, Lobna, please proceed.
Hi all. Thank you so much, Dr. Marika, for this wonderful lecture. While you were explaining and going over the figures, I saw like the first three patterns represent how human beings look at the sky, and the other four figures, how sky looking at us. I don't know if you agree with me or not. Of course, they are all one. Yeah.
Of course, they are all one. I think we can definitely agree on that. I haven't seen it that way from looking at it, but I like that concept, the idea. I definitely can see something in it. There's for sure a change in orientation from 1 to 4 and then 5 to 8. So I believe that there is something to what you're saying about one aspect looking at the sky and the other one coming down. I haven't fully grasped which way. I have a sense that in the physical it goes from 1 to 9, but my feeling is that to create the physical it goes from 9 to 1.
Yeah.
So in that way, when you see my explanation, it kind of aligns with you. When I say in the physical expression of creation, then we look from 1 to 4 into the sky at the start, right? And when you say from 5 to 6, but I took the whole entire line, basically, the whole sequence from 1 to 9 to explain the entire process in the physical creation, as well from 9 to 1, the entire process in creating the physics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank
so
you.
I'm not sure that it's 4 to 8 or 9 to look down at us.
Yeah,
but it could be.
Yeah,
so.
it's just the way I look, or I felt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another question, please. I felt like also we have only 3 numbers: the 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then all the other numbers are either vice versa or duplication or something like this. So do we have? Can we say like the very main numbers are only 3? And as you show,
not in this
number 3 is represent the universe, represent the human being. So can we look at it like this?
Not with this number pattern, because we have 4 and 5 who are a pair. So you could say, if you ignore 9, which is something special, so we could say maybe 9 is spirit, right? Then in the physical is 1 to 8. And 1 to 8, half of that repeats in that pattern. So you can see we have 4 numbers in the physical.
4, not 3.
Not 3. In the physical, it's also in the physical, from my perception, with these number patterns, it's 4. But there might be a way to say that it's 3 when you say, okay, we have the hierarchy based on data points, where we have 6 data that duplicate in the physical plane, and we say, okay, 3 and 6, they are a little higher. They are something above the physical. Then that's the second category, and 9 is the third. Then you have 3 groupings, not individual number patterns. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we can combine them to 3 groups.
3, 6, and
relate to your 3.
Yeah.
3, 6, and 9, that's another type of group.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, too.
Okay, folks. If anyone have another question, we shall actually ask our wonderful Dr. Marika. If not, I have actually my own question to Marika. We today try to study the secret language of numbers. So we explain some of wonderful figures. How we can apply these figures, or how we can use these figures. This is number 1. Number 2, what is the relation between these figures and sound vibration? Because also vibration of sound have a unique figures. These figures can be studied in esoteric and spiritual schools for many, many, many years. If there is any relation between this monad, these letters of figures, and sound vibration figures, and how we can apply this figure of your lecture.
Okay, I think that the initial idea I have for application for people who just want to use it for their spiritual advancement is meditation on the symbols, on the number patterns, as well as the shapes, and they can select the shapes that most align with them. So it doesn't need to be my initial selection, but that could be a starting point. It's always wise to listen to your own intuition and feeling what suits best. Yeah? So the patterns and shapes I presented are the ones I found first. Later, I changed all shapes that I didn't necessarily present today into ground shapes, because I felt ground is more in alignment with the spiritual nature of the work I'm doing. And I saw very interesting things I didn't present today when I changed it all to round. So anyone can choose whatever they see in it and use it according to their own feeling. And so that would be my first. The thing I'm working on is trying to explain with this number patterns I found within the multiplication table a spiritual number-based explanation of the divine master plan of creation, which I think I can show. But it takes some time to get there because there's so much information in this little table.
The next lecture, huh? The next lecture.
Yeah, there could be definitely multiple next lectures depending on interest. But sound, I haven't really looked at sound at all. Sound is a very interesting concept. I've seen, when I look at the patterns, I see shapes. I know they're based on numbers. So the number is the rudimentary concept. Basically, the platform on which everything is created. But I haven't worked with sound in that respect at all. So I think there will definitely be some kind of connection. It's all connected. It just depends on opening the perception, which I tried to introduce in my talk by talking about observation, association, and the importance of intuition, because that's the key in all type of research.
Exactly.
Yeah. So sound, I would be surprised if it wasn't related. If we couldn't find something meaningful through this number pattern table that can maybe in alignment with the divine master plan I'm trying to expose, that there could be tones or easy type of sound, like simple sounds that relate to the different stages.
Okay. I'd like to add something. Actually, I know that Marika is a great artist. I was there in Graz, and it was art exhibition of Marika. So Marika always use her intuition and her artistic science, artistics, ability to taste, to find out the real meaning and spiritual meaning of everything. And because of this artistic ability, she can gather all of this in one form, in one figure. Actually, we have another question of Mr. Haider. In Arabic, he asks a question, so I'm going to translate it to Marika. In your opinion, Marika, what is the ultimate law or the deepest meaning or the pattern which you can gather or collect all of this monad, all of these primitive figures, and if it is something like this exists, it would be a geometrical shape or a law or a mathematical meaning, in your opinion?
In my opinion, this is a very unique template that can be used, the times table with seed numbers, that can be used to explain the function of the entire universe. Other things can be used for that too. This is just one thing, one concept. But if you go deep, doesn't matter what field you're in, wherever you go deep within your own observation association, intuition, you will discover a deeper meaning. So in my research with this very simple 9x9 grid of numbers, I stumble across the same relationships between number patterns and other aspects over and over. Why is that? Because those things that I stumble across over and over, they are based on truth, divine. They come from the divine. It's impossible to avoid it if you go deep with an honest heart and dedication to the truth. You cannot, in no way, shape or form, miss the divine. It's that simple. So that's why I was like, wow, I did a totally different analysis, and I get the same patterns, maybe not exactly same, but it shows me a similar type of grouping, a similar type of aspect. That's the beauty. So that's why I felt it was so important to me today to introduce 1 to 9, so that all of you can appreciate the importance of number 9. All numbers are very important, but 9 basically stands for the spirit, and that's my driving force in the discovery of these beautiful patterns and connections from it.
Actually, if we're speaking about number 9, I don't know if you remember or not, we talked about it before, and how the figure itself represents the seat of Isis, or the seat of a powerful goddess in Egypt, which represents something, we call it the root of universe, or the conscious of universe. So we need to ask actually another question of member Malak, member of our beloved Salon, of course. She said about consciousness, asking about consciousness. If there is any consciousness or entities can communicate with human through a language or a number, if a certain number keep repeating itself over and over many years, could it be more than coincidence? Could it be connected to an ancient language of number where their shapes, patterns, and symbolic meaning carry a real message? A wonderful question, actually. Okay, you can proceed, Marika.
I believe that numbers always carry a magic message. That's not the question. The question is, can you perceive it?
Yeah.
They always have a message. If you see numbers and you look at them, like, let's say 1 1 1 2 2, right? When you just look at the shape, the 1 looks towards the left, the 2 looks towards the left. So I say, okay, they all go left, right? Yeah. It's a matter of perception. It's not a question what's behind. Behind is always a message, an important message. Wonderful. So the most important thing is the perception. Open the perception. Open the perception more. The more one can open their own perception, the more they can see in the same pattern.
We already in the sea, so cannot ask about water. Something like this. Exactly. Yeah, as I can understand you. Excellent. So we have another question of Niveen. She raised her hand. Please, Niveen, proceed.
Yeah, belong to your question, Master Tony, like about the frequency for the numbers and this stuff. I remember in the end of the lecture, Dr. Marika show one of the pattern have colors. She put some colors, and from which we learned that color usually turn to vibration or to some kind of frequency. So I want to know why she choose this color, and is any number belong to a special color, or every color have a special number, and this could be like kind of frequency. That's my question.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a very good question.
Thank you.
My primary goal was to make it visible, appreciable, as well as connecting with some of the knowledge I already have on numbers. So to me, one is red. It's like the first color. Then the second is blue, which is the like when red is male, then blue is female kind of color. So or first red is fire and blue is water. And then the third, I took green because I felt it was giving the color of connection and healing. And for four, I just took another color that felt appealing, which is an orange type of color. And going backwards, because I already discovered those, I discovered those patterns without color. I just demonstrate them with color because it's easier to see. So I chose the opposite, the same color for 8 and 7 as their corresponding hair in a lighter way. So I have red and I have like a type of decent pink for 8, and I have 2 is blue and 7 is a light blue. And there was a purple for pattern 5, and like a brown for the number 9. I didn't put number 9 brown because I felt that was the number. I would have given it maybe purple, but I already used purple for 5. So it became brown because brown is like a good number, and a good number association for 9, I think. But that wouldn't be my first choice if it was just purely on the meaning I associate with the numbers. So it's like striking a balance between presenting and the deeper meaning. But there could be more work done to make it even more aligned.
That's so great. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, last question, please. Of Wahb didn't ask actually. We are giving a chance for all members to ask. Okay, Wahb, ask your question, please.
Thank you, Master. Welcome, Dr. Marika, between us, and thank you for this sharing knowledge for us. And I have a question. This Vedic square, as you know, the Vedic heritage is depending on planetary and astrology. Does there any relation between this different pattern you presented here and the planetary, or do you go in this type of? Thank you.
I have not studied Vedic mathematics. I just found out in preparation talk that the patterns I found are already known, you know. So I had the pleasure of discovering them for myself, and that pleasure can nobody take from me, even if it has been discovered eons ago, right? But I haven't studied Vedic mathematics in any way, so I can't relate the findings I have with whatever was done in that field.
Thank you very much for your answer.
Okay, we have a question of Lubna. Okay, Lubna can ask her question, last question. Okay, no problem. Please, Lubna, proceed.
Thank you. Yes, it could be a somehow funny question. Do you think there is could be any hidden number we didn't discover yet? It could be discovered later, or it could be unrevealed, because life has too many weird things. So sometimes I think like this. So what do you think? Thank you.
Thank you. This is an excellent question. Initially I planned to present that hidden number in the first presentation, but then I decided I don't want to do that, because if I present that hidden number, then 9 doesn't get the credit it deserves.
Yeah, I see. But
So
I'd like to know it, if you don't mind. I don't know. It's up to you.
You mean what's the hidden number?
Yeah.
You want to know? Yes.
Yes, please.
The hidden number in the multiplication table is 0.
Oh, wow. That's why it's very, yeah, it's very weird.
Yes, so once you introduce 0, then you don't give the credit to 9 anymore in the same way.
Yeah.
But we can definitely do another lecture at some point talking about 0.
Yeah, it would be appreciated. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to stop the record now.